fifth time, welcome to Kings of the Rings podcast exclusively here on Wrestle Addict Radio. I, of course, am your host, King Rickie Rose. You can find me at Ambassador Riggs across all social media outlets. Find Kings of the Rings podcast on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at KOTR underscore podcast. Listen to us each and every week wherever you get all of your podcasts, like if you're on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, actually, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all the hot stuff, iHeartRadio, by subscribing to Wrestle Addict Radio. That's right, you can find us by subscribing to Wrestle Addict Radio wherever you get all of your podcasts, and find Wrestle Addict Radio's social media at Addict underscore Wrestle on Twitter, and at Wrestle Addict Radio on Facebook and Instagram. Business cards coming soon if we can ever come to a goddamn consensus. Speaking of consensus, and Kate Murphy is still out at the moment. However, Kate Murphy has an unexcused absence for something called Galentine's Day. It is a holiday that does not exist.
I actually forgot what the reasoning was. I still don't know what Galentine's Day is. I don't care to know.
Yeah, it doesn't. Galentine's Day does not exist in the
Zero interest.
Static Radio. We are not recognizing that as an official holiday, and for this total egregious unexcused absence, the Kate Murphy has been fined heavily, and
lashes this week, audio lashes.
She's getting a couple of audio lashes, yes, and so it's a two-man show this week, and so welcome back. 1 year older now, and you're growing a good heel beard there, Mr. Will Tarashak.
Yeah, dude, it's good news, guys. My frontal cortex is now officially fully developed. I did it. I'm a man.
Yeah,
I did it. My birthday was this past weekend. It was kind of, I'm not gonna say it was uneventful. It was incredibly productive, Rickie. Thanks for asking, by the way. Thanks also for forgetting to wish me a happy birthday, asshole. Not only would you call me on Instagram at Will Tarashuk, T's and Thomas, ARASHUK, you wouldn't even wish me a happy birthday.
I wish you had a birthday on the damn show. I wish you had a birthday like days earlier, so that counts, damn it. Nice try.
That's all right. I'm just fucking with you. My grandma called me on my birthday. True story. God. It's all right.
Nice.
She sent money in the mail, so it's all good, Mimi. It's all good. T.S. and Thomas, ARASHUK, across all the internet specters. I'm excited to talk about TakeOver.
Oh, yeah.
It's good to talk wrestling because it was wow. And Rickie, we got to talk some AEW this week. I kind of want to talk some AEW.
Well, I talked to AEW last week. I don't know if you actually listened to my one-man spectacular.
Listen to it, solid.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm back on talking AEW. I'm all cut up with AEW, so we can talk about it. So yeah, we are going to talk about AEW, but first and foremost,
is 2 weeks away.
Yeah. It's the day after my birthday.
It's AEW. AEW's pay-per-views on a leap year. It's just funny because,
it's going to never happen again.
New wrestling, drive while you can. New wrestling promotion comes once every 4 years. Wrestling promotion comes and dies once every leap year.
It's going to be epic. But let's get into the epicness for no reason. That was NXT TakeOver Portland. This card was phenomenal. And there was no cooldown in any moment in this card whatsoever. Every match on this card had a backstory, meant something to the crowd, meant something to the performers, which is pretty much the DNA and the foundation for a spectacular pay-per-view. And it blew me out of the water. I did not expect all those matches to be back. And usually TakeOver, you're getting 4 out of 5 good matches. They stacked the card with 6 matches this time. And usually have some sort of match that's not going to hit all the expectations. But for me, all these matches, for the most part, hit the nail on the head with what they needed to do and what they needed to progress the story and/or end the story. I'm very blown away by how fantastic Portland was.
I'm not quite as blown away by you as you are, Rickie, but what I will say is I'm 100% blown away by the crowd. That Portland was, literally, it felt like it was a Chicago, New York, Texas crowd. This was, you couldn't tell, this is what, quote-unquote, B city of Portland, Oregon. These They brought it. Now, granted, they had some great action to cheer on, but they were hot all night, and they had a lot to be hot for. I saw 3 hours. I watched this on Sunday.
Yeah.
And I saw 3 hours. I was like, uh-oh. I was afraid the show was going to drag a little bit. And at certain points, there could have been some fat trimmed. I think a few matches went 5 minutes too long, specifically the Keith Lee, Donovan Dijakovic match.
Now they should fight forever, damn it.
That match was... Fuck, dude. That's a match of the year candidate already. We're in fucking February. But I think you trim the fat, like after that huge powerbomb off the top rope from Keith Lee, and he kicks out. Right at the finish, or right after that, I think they did a spot outside, and then went home. They should have cut that little thing out, went home, and it would have been fucking perfect. It was just a tad too long. I think same with the main event. It's a tad too long on the false finishes, but that's just me being nitpicky. Of course, it's TakeOver, and of course, it's absolutely astounding.
Yeah, I'm very the only thing I would change in the TakeOver is just because of the way the matches filled out. I would have put Keith Lee and Donovan Dijakovic in the middle and not have them start, and put Dakota and Tegan up front for a lot of things because you had the surprise entry of Raquel Gonzalez, aka Reina Gonzalez, but they just changed their name now. And you have that shocker of an appearance, so that's a good way to kind of start the match. And plus, Keith Lee and Donovan Dijakovic had no reason being that fucking amazing. They deserved show stealer spot. They didn't get it, but hey, if you're not in the show stealer, if you're not last, you better be first. And they did the best with that placement of being first.
Yeah, early on in the match, I was kind of thinking, I was just like, okay, what made the dynamic of the Keith Lee Donovan feud in the beginning when it first happened? What made it so intriguing? Other than the fact that they have great chemistry, it was the idea that Keith Lee and Dijakovic were in booking terms on the same level, right? They were both fighting for that spot to see who's going to one up the other and move up the ladder faster. So it had some intrigue there. Of course, I think the first one was a count out, and then Dijakovic got one, Keith Lee got one. The match was the no contest. But so this was the rubber match.
Yeah.
But Keith Lee is coming in as a new champion and getting this huge momentum. So, like in a booking perspective, he was one upped on Dijakovic. So it's kind of hard to suspend your disbelief. I honestly thought that was going to hurt the match a little bit because we've seen it before, and it's just a different mindset going into it. But goddamn, there was 3 times I thought Dijakovic was walking out this belt. The spot where he dives off the top rope, the corner, when Keith Lee is sitting on the chair.
Oh, the springboard?
Yeah, springboard, and Amaro now is just like, oh my God! Like, everything this man does, like, I'm telling you can make eating a bowl of cereal intriguing. Captain Crunch! Captain Crunch! The milk is chocolate, Mamma Mia! Like, seriously.
This is the reason Morrow has his own T-shirt.
Seriously. I do agree with you, Ricky. This match being first does a disservice to Dakota and Tegan Nox because it puts them in an impossible situation. First off, the crowd is gassed already. And towards the end of they were kind of getting into it, like they had to put on a barn burner, and it's not their fault it wasn't as good as it was because on its own.
Blame the table. Blame the table for not breaking.
That too. Like if you throw that match in Full Sail, it's a match of the week easily.
Oh but
yeah. It's unfortunate it had to finish. It had to go after Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic. But if a TakeOver is going to have some sort of cooldown, the fact it's a street fight is
that table, I feel really bad for that table. And by the way, the other thing that was intriguing about Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic is that you also have the intrigue of men that size one, you have John Dijakovic, who's a fucking skyscraper, and you have Keith Lee, who is pretty much a giant fat black guy in the eyes of a normal fan. Those two archetypes of physical structures aren't supposed to be that athletic.
No, like when he did like I think the suplex and Don Dijakovic bounced off his head and then landed on his feet.
Yeah,
Hulked up, like their back and forth was
it's amazing.
It was so fun to watch, and it was just like, damn, these guys are so even, and they did a really good job at presenting these guys as even with the mindset of Keith Lee's a new champion, which is very hard to do. It's so hard to do.
Yeah,
and they did it.
They did, and it was fantastic. I want this feud to continue when they get moved over to Raw and or SmackDown. I would even separate them for a while, bring them back a couple years down the road, and give them a Mania match of that same caliber. They'll tear the house down.
Yeah, both these guys are going to be top champions, 100%.
Oh my God, absolutely. Keith Lee can talk his way out of a paper bag.
Once he sees how tall Dominik Dijakovic is. You notice like he wasn't really on Survivor Series. He hasn't been on like around ever. Triple H is like hiding him from Vince.
Vince is like, who's this Dijakovic guy? Triple H is like, Triple H is like, I don't know what you're talking about. We don't have any guy named Dijakovic. She said at all. No, he doesn't exist, Vince.
Just call him Koloff. I know that one, pal.
Oh man! What Christ? But moving along to that Dakota and Tegan match, one unbelievable, like very vicious street fight. They did the best that they could. I just feel bad for that table spot because Raquel Gonzalez is going to be a little hard for them to get used to. But Raquel Gonzalez did the best she could. Like Raquel Gonzalez is like 6'3", number one. Threw her perfectly onto that table, and that table just did not give.
You know,
at all.
We see this a lot in wrestling these days. Women can't go through tables.
I don't know why. It's not like Tegan Nox is like. I'm not gonna say she's not fat, but she's not. You know, she's not like a Kairi Sane. Like you wouldn't expect Kairi Sane to get thrown through a table. Like I would expect Tegan Nox to break a table.
Appropriately sized. Like
yeah.
She's not small. She's by no means out of shape or overweight. She's proportional. I think is a good word to use.
There you go. Yeah. And that table just did not give at all. I was like, this is fucked up. I mean, they did the best with it. Like, it still had a effect. It actually might have even had a better effect because the table didn't give and it looked more vicious than her actually going through the table.
Yeah, but how sad is it you can't break a gimmick table?
Yeah, that is kind of weird. It is kind of weird.
Like,
but like the throw was good.
We kind of saw the same thing at WrestleMania like last year with the main event.
It broke at the wrong spot.
Yeah, like this isn't a new thing with women's wrestling. Like the only person to go through a table is Nia Jax.
Yeah.
unless Nia Jax is okay. By that I mean Nia Jax is going through the table, or that bitch is putting you through the table.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, no, it's a shame because that match was great. What else happened after? Let's move on from that actually, as I'm like cycling in my head right now about everything that went on. Do you want to go to the women's title match or do you want to do the tag team title match?
Let's do the women's title.
Okay.
Because this was Bianca's best showing. Definitely.
Absolutely. I loved how she's the only person that acknowledged Black History Month.
True. I have been a pretty harsh critic of Bianca Belair. I'm really I don't get it. I still don't quite see it, but I don't like her promos. I don't like the girl. I don't like her she wears too much makeup. There's a lot of things about her that I just don't like, and the in-ring wasn't quite there for me. But I can admit, in the past year, she has been a huge improvement. She has put the work in, and like her match against Shayna last year when she had a title match, like the right spot for her, but she wasn't quite ready and she didn't quite deliver. Now maybe that's because she has a better dance partner now, but she brought it, and I think the match ended a little prematurely.
Yeah, I didn't like the spot. Like, I get what they were trying to do with like that avalanche riptide, but I thought it could have been executed a little bit better.
Yeah, like if you don't like the crowd should have been counting 1, 2, 3 at the end, which means the
Correct.
crowd did not expect that to be the finish, which means I didn't expect that to be the finish. not spinach, finish. So like it is kind of, it's like, oh, it's over. Okay.
I also think it's kind of one of those things where they might have had to been told to go home earlier because you have the moment with Charlotte at the end.
Yeah, that's also a thing. Like Charlotte comes in, and any attention that Bianca like should have gotten
Was not going to get.
it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. It's unfortunate that Bianca Belair's like coming out party, from my opinion, was a little soiled by this. Oh, you're a transition.
Which is interesting because her parents were in the crowd. Because they had the shot of her parents. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Her parents in the crowd. Usually when you do a shot of someone's parents in the crowd, that person's usually winning. You know, but then also at the end of Charlotte's promo, which you knew was going to happen, Charlotte also deliberately attacked Bianca and threw her into the steps, which makes me believe this match at WrestleMania might turn into a triple threat. Because here's what I'm thinking. If Bianca's parents are in the crowd and she's not winning, then Bianca's leaving NXT very soon.
Yeah, I personally would not want a triple threat. I think Charlotte Rhea is.
I think it's a perfect match. I agree.
It's a very perfect match, but I'm not going to say Bianca Belair doesn't deserve it.
No, I'm interested to see what they do with Bianca moving forward after this loss, her second title loss. They've made it pretty clear that yes, she's talented. Yes, she's very good at what she does, but she's not going to carry the NXT Women's banner. So what do you do with her next? Do you have to move her somewhere? You know, but do you give her this moment of being potentially the foil in WrestleMania? Like that wild card in this Charlotte versus Rhea thing.
I mean, time will tell, but if she does leave NXT, like the women's NXT women's division is incredibly deep.
Yeah.
Also incredibly green. And by green, I mean, I don't mean they're not talented. I mean that they don't have enough exposure on
Because you still have people who have been getting exposure for a while, but still keep getting exposure, and they haven't moved them anywhere.
Exactly. You have a lot of people kind of just floating around in the undercard trying to get to the mid card. And you don't have a mid card. You kind of just have a few women up top.
Yeah, although NXT women have done really well, the Dakota and Tegan is the mid card.
That is true.
Right now, which is, I mean, it's better than what SmackDown and Raw are doing, where they're all just chasing for a title.
So true.
You know, and I really hope one day, because the tag titles weren't the solution at all whatsoever. They do need a traveling mid card belt and call it the Evolution Championship. I don't know why this is so hard.
I do like that idea.
Call it the Evolution Championship, design it in any which mid card way you want to do. Make it pink or something. I don't care. But have it be something. Bring back the butterfly title. Have it be something that the women in the mid card, or you can create the women in the mid card, have them have that be something that they can fight for in the interim before going to the top tier. You have enough women right now, but you can do a mid card title, a traveling mid card title.
Yeah, I think NXT's women division, like they need Xia Li needs some more personality because she's
spicy.
I want one. She's amazing. The Brazilian woman,
Taynara Conti may not be around.
She was the one who got in the fight and arguing about money.
She's the one. I think so. She, according to a bunch of unreliable sources, she had walked out of WWE. But then, like the other day, she posted on Instagram pictures of her like still in the ring. It's like I don't know. So who knows what's going on with Taynara? I know Taynara does need more in-ring work if she remains.
They still have Candice, who they're not quite doing anything with right now. They still have Joe, who they're not quite doing anything. Well, Io has had a match against Rhea, but they have some depth there.
That they can still keep around, yeah.
Yeah, but that's okay. Maybe I'm wrong then. Maybe I just outthought my own thinking.
Maybe. I mean, what matters is that the NXT Women's Division is the best women's division in all of wrestling. I'll argue that all day.
Hands down.
You know, it's just talent out the ass. And don't forget,
man. Ayo, got him.
And you still have Mercedes Martinez, who they just signed.
Yeah, and that's probably the smartest decision they could have made that no one's going to recognize.
Absolutely, they took Mercedes from AEW, which was it's going to be good for Mercedes in the long run. Because, like I said, I can see her once her career's over, which she may have maybe at max 5 or so years left. She's 39 now. She'll transition into a coach and be a damn good coach at the PC.
Yeah,
she trained she trained Shayna Baszler.
Did she?
Yeah, that was Shayna Baszler's trainer.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. They have a really big history back in Shimmer.
I'd say, oh, interesting. I'd say NXT Women's Division they need more character as opposed to skill. The skill's there.
Absolutely.
It's 100% there, and it's only getting better. They just need character.
They need to develop their characters. The only people I know who have really good developed characters, obviously Shayna. Candice is your girl next door. Tegan is also your girl next door. They kind of play the same character. Dakota Kai is the girl next door who became a bitch. You know, like no one wanted to play in the sandbox with Dakota Kai, and now she's really angry. And Shotzi Blackheart pretty much knows her character. Shotzi Blackheart is out of her mind. Did you see the episode where she came in on a tank?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
So she has her character down pat, but it's the other people, like you said, who we don't see often that need a character. Io's kind of a psychotic Asian, but you need Mercedes is Mercedes at this point. But those other people who you don't see, like Lacey Lane, Raquel Gonzalez, aka Reina Gonzalez, who's going to be apparently a big factor now. Someone's heavy. They need to start bringing more of these women on and getting their characters out there more, which I agree with you with. So let's move on to the tag team of the Broserweights versus the Undisputed. What a great match.
Of course.
Fucking great match.
Duh.
You can't go wrong with these 4 guys in the ring. You
no,
really can't.
Matt Riddle just flips a switch when he's in the ring.
Oh, when he hulks up?
Yeah, and it's just fuck, man. It's captivating.
Yeah. It is very I'm surprised at his chemistry with Pete Dunne. That it works so well. They are the epitome of strange bedfellows. They are.
It's just opposites attract.
Yeah, but their finisher at the end of that match was fantastic. For Bro to sleep with the the insecurity to the back of the head simultaneously was beautiful.
It was a great match. The crowd ate that shit up.
So good. Undisputed played great heels.
Yeah, Undisputed does play great heels. But yeah, it's fantastic. Where does it go from here?
It's how many fish can Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish?
I fucking hate that. Just saying.
They have a T-shirt out already.
I know, it's annoying as fuck. Like, all right, like okay. Here's the thing. When it first happened in the NXT arena, it was funny, but now they're ruining it.
It's only been a week.
I know, it's already ruined.
I don't know about all that. I find myself saying it at work, and I'm just like, damn it.
They had a fish out of sync on the Jumbotron, all right? It's ruined.
I forgot about the fish and the Jumbotron.
The crowd was kind of just like, eh.
That's definitely a Triple H. That's definitely Triple H and Shawn Michaels thing.
Dude, it is.
Put a fish.
What we have is Matt Riddle with 2013 DX humor.
Yeah, well, his coaches are Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, is that the Matt Riddle we want?
I don't know. 2013 DX wasn't that bad.
The less Matt Riddle talks, I think the better.
I think one of his endearing qualities is the fact that he talks. Not that he talks, it's the way in which he talks. Because like he talks like he's a wellness policy violation in the making, and still has never been popped for it at all, which I'm very surprised at. So I think that's what makes Matt Riddle intriguing. Besides the fact that like he flips the switch from being this perma high guy to somebody who's just a crazy athletic in the ring.
Yeah.
Sometimes it makes me wish if that his UFC career wasn't cut short, but it is what it is.
No, I'd much prefer him WWE.
Well, he can show more of his character in WWE than he can in UFC. UFC, the more I watch UFC, the more I feel like, God, these are just a bunch of meatheads. Like, they're all the same person. Just in different forms and body types. Don't get me wrong, I like UFC, but there's no difference in it all. But a ton of them love wrestling. So what else do we have? Oh, we have the battle for Mr. NXT, Finn Balor versus Johnny Gargano. Technical masterpiece.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Different than what I expected. These guys just went up there and had a wrestling match.
Yeah.
It's a
What more do
compliment.
you want? Yeah. What more do you want?
Like it was a good match. It's like, you know what? It felt like a Randy Orton match. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of chain wrestling,
Yeah.
a lot of like classic wrestling. It wasn't a high spot like different fest. Like it was refreshingly different.
Yeah, it was more like an anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
And it was good, and that's kind of the match I expected from them. You know, these are two guys who legitimately know how to wrestle on the mat. They don't use high spots, and they don't have. I've never seen Johnny Gargano go to the top rope at all. You know, Finn does it as like his one finisher, but Finn is mostly a ground-based performer. He does have his high-flying spots, but Finn is mostly a ground-based performer. And Johnny Gargano, I mean, you and I have seen this firsthand when he went up against Sabre at our first Evolve show. They just did mat wrestling for like 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Johnny Gargano's a wizard on the mat. Like, I've seen Johnny Gargano just get into ridiculous holds out of nowhere. So it was a great match. Finn won, so that story's over. Where Finn goes to next, I don't know, but we know where Johnny's going to next because we got heel Johnny that came back, and they have switched roles again. You have Ciampa, who, for the love of me, I was like, this son of a bitch is winning.
I didn't think so because I like the story they're telling with the Undisputed Era. Like, slowly they get all the belts, they have them on top, and then slowly they lose them.
Yeah.
Like it's like a what's the fucking flow chart, and it's like go up and it's like a shoehorn and it goes back down.
It's a bell curve, but yes.
Bell curve, that's the one. That's
it's not a shoehorn. Shoehorn is an opposite of a bell curve. But yeah, no, this match was very, very good. Adam Cole is just a sneaky motherfucker. Like, Adam Cole just gets wins out of his ass. And then Gargano attacks Ciampa, which, I mean, at this point, talk about long-term story booking. How fucking amazing is this? We have the story that we thought was over, that story that we thought we were never going to get back. We now have a chance to talk about that story again. And we might see an actual conclusion to Ciampa Gargano. And I think that conclusion is going to happen at TakeOver Tampa.